Hello, friends! Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing? Hey, no biting. I just picked you up. We're gonna be nice. Okay? I've got a cat who's being extremely demanding right now. Being kind of a bit of a turd. But we love her. Anyway. But hey, how's it going? We're doing more Dark Souls tonight. We're gonna see if we need to maybe re-roll. Because having DLC bosses in, this early on in the game. Not ideal. Far from ideal, actually. I gotta make this cat be content with laying on the ground, though. She's had all this time to hang out and snuggle with me today, and has not. And that's not ideal. Luna, hello! How's it going? I'm gonna set you on the ground now, okay? Because we're gonna play some bitchy games. Okay? I know, how dare I? I love you! I'm gonna sit you down! Right in the box. That's what you want, right? Officially? You've officially done the move thing? Congrats! How is it? I mean, obviously it's still new, so you don't fully know, but that's super exciting! Congratulations! But yeah, everything going good with that so far? Sorry, I love the song. But congratulations, Luna! Happy new house! Apartment, you know. Everything in time. You'll get what you need soon. Ah, that is super exciting though. I'm very happy for ya. Cyril, hello, welcome. Thank you for the lurk, friend. Hi. Lamia is probably going to scream at me all stream, just as a heads up. She has decided to sleep the entire time that I have been available to do a cuddle with her, and is now awake. Therefore, needs all of the attention. Alright. So we tried to beat the Bell Gargoyle. No, don't do that. Which is Manus, yesterday. Tried that the whole time. Did not work well. In fact, was very bad. So I have made our way back to Blighttown. Because maybe Artorias is a little more manageable. I can't even say that. It's not gonna happen. But maybe we'll be able to backtrack our way into the sewers, perhaps? We'll see. Otherwise, there is a Bell Gargoyle here in Blighttown. That tends to fall off of the planks that it's standing on, and does give me like 12,000 souls, which is pretty dope. So we might just farm that for a little bit, assuming I can do it good. Otherwise, just trying to find the other bonfires in Blighttown would be nice. It's true, it's not great, because all the bosses, like, we haven't tried to get to Sif yet. And I don't necessarily want to, but it might be worth trying. But we've got Manus as the Bell Gargoyle. We've got Artorias as Quelaag. Pinwheel is a guardian or a sanctuary guardian. Might get a key from Sif. That's true. But that would require me getting there and remembering how to get there. Let me just, like, forget how to talk partway through that sentence. Yeah, see, and might not, because we do got that item randomizer on. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do as well right now, is see if I can just find any of the, like, any item. Just any item. But I just keep getting humanity. Game likes to give me humanity. Keep getting pine resin from this guy. You're right. I know. We don't know. It might happen. It might not. They're my souls from earlier. Would like those. But also welcome, Travis. Hello. Hi, friends. How's it going? There's 10,000 souls. Love that for us. 2,500 extra souls. Love that for us. Gotta remember what we were doing. So I have played a little bit today. Just like half hour's worth. To try and just remember how to play. Okay, big boy gone. Big boy gone. What do you have? Thank you for the twinkling Titanite. There are... That doesn't break. I didn't think so. I just, like... I mean, we're back to kind of where we were yesterday, where it's like, I just don't want to be here. Every place I can go right now, bad. All bad. There is a snake man, and there is a large lad. I would like to drop down onto the large lad. Lips! I went and bought some stuff today, and happened to find a lip color that I actually liked. It doesn't happen. It never happens. Oh, thanks. I'm trying to... So... Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. I'm realizing... Oh, that person fell. I'm realizing that... We're doing alright. Let's start it off with that. But, because I'm inside so much... Fucking hell, don't fall. Because I'm inside so much, and I don't go anywhere anymore. I'm not doing anything. Self-image has been just, like, not fantastic. Oh. No,
Fruity! Is also ridiculously beautiful. I know people are supposed to say things like that about their mothers, but in my case it happened to be fact. Few young men know the Oedipal torment of growing up with an insanely hot, perpetually single mom.
Did he say Oedipal? Oh, no. Fruity, I can't... I'm torn right now. Because I want to thank you for the tier 1 sub. And the 6 month thing that you got going on. But oh boy! Oh boy! So there's this book that we've been reading in Fruity's Discord on Saturdays. Called Armada. By Ernest Cline. It's not great. Would not recommend. Do not read. Don't read. And if you need any reason to not read it, there is that little section right there. If we can help it, they will continue to not go in that direction. Thank you, Rudy, for the 6 months. It's I don't know that I want to do more readings from Armada. Real talk, I don't know that I'm prepared for it. I don't want to hear about the Oedipal struggle of having a ridiculously hot mom. Your book was better. It's true. It's true. I need to pick up the Murderbot stuff. I don't want to. I mean, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. But no, thank you, Fruity. Not for the Armada, but for the sub. We appreciate that. What was I saying, though? But yeah, I, like, don't do anything anymore. I get kind of dressed up for, you know, stream, but usually it's just the usual sweats and a band tee, because... but I'm gonna try and, like, pamper myself a little bit more. Not necessarily, like, go all out, but I think it might help me a little bit. Might boost my mood some. So yeah, you get lipstick Kaysh today. Yeah. Another fun fact about me, though, is that I don't usually like wearing, like, lipsticks and stuff like that. Because, apparently, and I didn't really put it together, but it's a sensory issue for me. I don't like having something on my lips that I can smudge and smush around, and it's not great. So, I went to Sephora to pick up some stuff that I needed. Some hair stuff that I needed. And talk to the lady there. She was lovely and wonderful and super nice, and she found me a lip stain in a color that's really cool. I don't know where I'm going. That's kind of why I'm stalling a little bit. But yeah, she found a lip stain that in like a really cool color that I like. And it doesn't really feel like I'm wearing anything. And that's pretty dope. So now we're here. And it's great. This is where I just was. I kind of want to... I mean, yeah, okay, for real, like, it's not just the sad, that seasonal affective disorder stuff. It's also my other stuff, but it's also the seasonal affective as well, and it's just like, holy shit, all of it all at once, and I'm just like, oof. But it's fine. We're gonna do what we can to do some self-care, and this is part of it. I'm excited about it. Is there a way... Sad buddy! Look, we can all be sad buddies here. Dude, the compounding depression? I don't think enough people acknowledge or recognize just how fucking miserable and all-encompassing it all is. It's not all for you, Luna. You can't hoard all of the depression. That's not healthy. Share the load. I'm going down. We're going down. I'm gonna regret this. None of us wants it, honestly. Oh, it's the goopy lad. But, yeah. So I'm trying to, like, preemptively take care of myself before it gets too out of control. Because we gotta. Cottage cheese, not cream cheese. Cottage cheese, Bunno. You gotta get it right. But no, like, I don't know, between, like, I didn't leave the house much even before the pandemic, honestly. I'd go to shows, I'd go to friends' houses. That was about it. But now especially, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything ever. Because I don't want to go see people. I don't want to go out in the real world. Everyone sucks out there. Yeah, the vehicle issue, definitely, like, a big part of it as well. I'm hoping that with getting a bike, I'll at least be able to do stuff in town a little more. Even if it's just, like, go to the store. If I can just go to the store, that'd be cool. Okay, God, I don't want to be here. There should be another way to get up, though, right? But yeah, my bike should be in this week. at some point, and can you not? My guy. And I'm extremely excited about that. Ha ha ha! I got here before you could get me! Plus I'll also just be like a little more active, which is exciting. Might be able to sleep more because of that. I'm trying to do what I can to like be active here, but it's not fantastic. It is true. I got some nice bike trails up there. Can we... No! Sir. Clam, I need you to back off for a minute, okay? Clam! Ugh. But I've got a hybrid bike coming in. And so I'll be able to, like, even out where I am right now, I'll be able to, like, ride most of the roads. I know which ones are gravel. I'll probably avoid those. But there's lots of pretty places out here. I got a helmet. I've got a helmet. I'm ready to use my helmet. That's exciting. I decorated my helmet. Because I'm a goober. But yeah. Is it an e-bike? I mean, it's a... No? It's just, it's a mix between, like, a mountain bike and a cruiser. It's a hybrid. Oh, 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 I am poisoned. We are poisoned. I need everyone to go away. Please, sirs. Okay. But yeah, it's super cute. It had lots of, like, really good reviews as both, like, a bike for good. Oh my god. Okay, well, this is the direction that I need to go. But yeah, I'll make sure to share with everyone as soon as my bike comes in. Y'all will know. I will let everybody know. Do not fear. No. Bad bone wheel. But yeah, that's the general state of affairs in that regard. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this is all very bad. Please, bone wheel. Why are you still alive? I thought I killed you! This is just a bad situation to find yourself in. Okay, you know what? Fuck off. I know I'm poisoned. That's fine. I can deal with that. I picked up... Oh, this is so bad! Look! Poison, or clams, or bone wheels. Can handle all those on their own. It's another compounding issue. The little mushy boy needs to go. I need him to leave. He's not helping this situation. Not yet, not yet. We're not gonna re-roll yet. I'm not gonna give up yet. If we do, it'll probably be towards, like, the end of stream, because, like, we're in a new area, we're gonna try something, we're gonna try a little different. I just gotta approach the situation a little more intelligently than I have been. Yeah, bone wheel swap, not great. Look, look, look. If I can manage to not rush through, we should be okay. No, please, Clam, why do you keep coming back? Clam! Clam! Okay, well, I've used all of my very good items. That's great. Love that for me. Come here. Bone Man, come here. Nope, you will not? Okay. Okay. Well. Alright! Alright! Oh, everything is bad. Clam, why do sometimes you get stunned, and sometimes you do not? Clam bad, clam bad, clam bad! And I've died. This one's a little more difficult. There's a lot of enemies in a very, very small space, and there's a lot of poison going on. I need that clam to stop coming back to life. Okay. Bone wheel handled. Bad painted realm lady. Not quite handled. I have to seize. Oh, please! Nose! You? No. Stop! Stop with the thing that you're doing in the fire! Okay. Please. These fucking clams, though. These goddamn clams, though. Grip it and rip it. Bad clams. Okay. Alright. Gotta yell about it. Grip it and rip it! Come on. Why? Why do you do this, Bone Wheel? Clam, why are you like this? Buddy, I hadn't even gotten up yet. Oh no. Okay, okay. While Clam is busy trying to, like, charge up an attack. No! Big man coming! Sir... Okay, stop! We just gotta go. If Nutsack Man could stop blowing fire on me, would love that. Stop, Clam! Where are they coming from? What is bringing him back to life? That's what I need to figure out. Why does he keep getting resummoned? Bad Clam. Extremely bad Clam. Not the— oh, is he— okay, okay. Okay, I understand. I hate it. I hate it. I would like to get up on land, please. There goes all my fucking souls. Okay, well there's a wannabe pit there. There's a pit that exists there that I can't get up. It's too steep for my stupid legs. I would like No. I would like for you to not do the thing that you're trying to do. Bone man. Okay, now we're toxic as well. Perfect. Love that for me. Love that for me. Nope. So this all sucks. We've established that this is all extremely bad. We'll just get rid of the bone wheel. Bone wheel does have to go very early on. Ah, the fucking clam! No, I'm not gonna- no! The more you say reroll, the less likely I am to do it! I just wanna get good. I can do this! Probably. I can probably do this. Okay. Okay. Heal. Heal. Stop hitting me in the back! Hold on. We just gotta... If I can just get to the ladder. If I can get to the ladder, it'll be a little better. Probably. Are you shitting me? Just stop! Ah! Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. It's just, this is all bad. Okay. I got some stuff. We're up here. At the very least, the clam cannot climb. They've all lost interest in me. Perfect. That's an unfortunate place for the item to be. I'm gonna use my last clump item. Can you not be there? Look, we did it! We did it. It's fine. No, 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 no. I have to sneeze? Maybe? Maybe sneeze? No, he's just gone away. Okay. Salamander man gone. Can't get his item. Not allowed. But this should take us to the other bonfire that is not down where all the bad things are. And maybe we can backtrack into the sewer? Bone wheels, please. I am concerned about the state of that bell gargoyle. That may be the bell gargoyle dying. Oh boy. Oh boy. Is this even where I'm supposed to be? Oh no, this is a drop down area, isn't it? Oh no. Okay, let's carefully make our way back. Please? Okay. It's fine. There is a ladder here. This is new territory, so it's a plus. This is where we just were. But I'm gonna open it up. And I don't think there are... Oh! Whatever he was, he fell. He fell all the way. There's a goopy man here. Ah! Ah! Can he fall? Hey, have you considered falling down? Oh, there's a mushroom bud. Please. Oh, no, he... Okay. Well, he's at least not where he can get me. So that's a plus. Can I convince him to run off the edge? Somehow. Maybe. Can I jump on him? I should wait. I should wait until I find a bonfire. He's not worth it. Oh! There's a lot happening everywhere. What is that? Also, what's breaking things above me? The Bell Gargoyle. Bell Gargoyle is above us. Weird Puma also here. Okay. I want to get this item, but I'm scared. It's all bad everywhere. Everywhere is bad. Oh! Oh! Gargoyle has fallen down. Gargoyle knows where I live. Exceedingly unfortunate. And I don't think he's high up enough now to die if he falls. Gargoyle doesn't know he can fly. That is true. And we have easily defeated a gargoyle previously. Because we got one of the lightning boys in place of the moonlit butterfly, right? So worst comes to worst, we could potentially try and do a murder on him. It's not ideal, though. This is a bad place for it, because I can't drop down onto him. We are too high up. I'm pretty sure that the bonfire is very close, though. Can I make this jump? Is there even a place for me to jump to? Yeah, bridge is where the bonfire is. I have to get there, though. Okay, I'm gonna take a big old risk. Please climb! That's fine. He can jump on my head. Sorry. Squiggly Wiggly Boy, hi. There's a rock man over here. You should be downstairs, sir. That is a bit of a problem. No! Oh, he stopped just short of me. That was terrifying. Oh, big boy. Okay, okay. He did listen. We appreciate it when people listen. Everything is horrible. There's the bonfire, though. A little less horrible now. Beautiful. Okay, we need to rest. I need to wipe my nose. Because I'm all snotty. Kitty cats have settled in. Lamia is in her box. Farley is under the desk. Hi, bud. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Thank you, Luna, for the bubble. Okay. Look, I'm not saying that we won't re-roll. I'm just saying we're gonna give it a minute. Because we're in a place we haven't explored yet. Now the question is, can we get back to the sewers? How do we get back to the sewer? Bell Gargoyle should be back to his starting position, though. And we might be able to convince him to run off the platform? Oh, no. Okay. That's okay. You know why it's fine? Because we're just right here. I should kindle this bonfire, though. It might be necessary. I have 10 twin humanities. Jesus Christ. Okay. Reverse the hollowing. Also, we got the tiny beings ring, which I don't remember what that does. So we're gonna look at that in a second. Okay. Small increase of HP. Not helpful. Alright. Good to know. Fantastic. Love that for us. I mean, I guess I could just... Because we were trying to go that way, right? That's where Quelaag is. So... going this way... is assumably the correct thing to do. As far as the direction that we're headed. Thank you for the chain helm, I guess. Please. Game. I need to be able to see. Cleansing Great Shield and a mace. Any further is dangerous. I mean, everywhere is dangerous. Let's... We have established that all places are bad. This is the one that moves. Please. 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 I have made a mistake coming here. Oh boy. Especially since I need to be going the other direction. Oh. Not the snakes. Not the snakes. Oh. Well, it feels good to, like, have something new killing us. Okay, yeah. Bell Gargoyle's over there. Weird Puma also over there. Our goal is to just go up. Up and this way, right? Oh fuck, I have to climb. Okay. No! Please! I don't know how I made it! But I did! Everything is fine. No, because this is where we— oh my god. I hate this place. Just gonna drop. We're just gonna fall. And... okay, so I have to go this way? Please, no. Was there a ladder over here, though? Game, 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 game. No? White Town is so confusing. Ladder? Place that I can drop down to. Location we've not been to? Well, it's an item. Balder Gauntlets. More humanity. I don't need any more humanity. If we could not get more humanity ever, that'd be cool. Sarah, hello! Welcome in, friends. How's it going? How are we doing? I am lost and scared and concerned. Thank you for getting the shout out, Hallie. How was the tactics? How was the last of the tactics? I was kind of lurking for a little bit. But hi friends, welcome! Did you manage to recruit any of the chickens? Go ahead and introduce myself. I think most of you know me, but for those of you who don't, my name is Kayshurrr. I am an LGBTQ plus streamer who focuses on horror and mystery games. We're playing some Dark Souls today. Everything's randomized. It's all bad. We're just hanging out, having a good time. Thank you for naming a character after me, by the way. That's very sweet. Oops, all bad. Oops, all bad. Sarah, thank you for the gift sub to Willis. Also, hello, Willis. Nice to see you again. For anyone who just came in on the raid, Sarah and friends, if y'all need to take a short break, I do understand. Or any length of break, I guess, I should say. We haven't been streaming for too terribly long. We'll be here for a good long while. Yeah, gotta go do the human things. Take care of your dang self. It's important. I would like for you to take care of yourself. Please and thank you. We're just wandering around Blighttown. I'm extremely lost. I'm trying to backtrack. Well, I can't say backtrack because we haven't been here. But we're trying to get through. Hi, Devo. Devo's trying to cheer us on. I just want to get to the sewers, and I don't know where anything is. I know. Thank you, Devo. Do I have to go in the hole in the wall? I might have to. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It's just not a good place to be. I think everything over there is just a dead end. I think we have learned that it's all a dead end. Give me those souls back. Since we're here. Can I go up? Is this where I came from? I don't think so. Oh no. I have no idea how to say your name. I have died. Thank you for the follow, though. I super duper appreciate it. Calm? Can I call you Calm? Is that okay? Or do you have a preferred nickname? Renee? That works for me. But welcome in, friend. Hello. How are you doing? It's all bad here. Okay, so I should take out the snake that is upstairs first. Before trying to do a murder on the Crystal Man. You have jumped so far! Oh, okay. Well, he's dead. That's fine. Give me your body before you die. Yeah, we, for anyone new here, I did see you in there. This is extremely unfortunate. Cool. Blob, can you not right now? There's a Crystal Man coming at me. Who I'm not prepared to handle anymore. Aw, sleepy kitty. Love cats. Sounds like a good time to me. Who fell? But yeah, for anyone who is new, like I said, we're doing some Dark Souls. It's randomized. Basically, all of the starter bosses, Bell Gargoyle, Pinwheel, well, Pinwheel I wouldn't necessarily say is a starter boss, but, all the bosses that we have access to at the moment, are DLC bosses, basically. Which is extremely unfortunate for us, because I don't have any upgrades to my Estus. No amount of kindling things is helping. And it's just a very unfortunate situation that we found ourselves in. However, we are making some kind of progress compared to before, sir. Because we have found a new bonfire here in Blighttown. We are working backwards to try and get to the sewers, because I don't have a key to access the sewers. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Free. It's not fantastic. Everything is real rough. Depending on how, that's fair. I love Dark Souls. I love it so much. It's rough. It is very rough at times. But I like the sense of accomplishment I get when I do manage to beat a bad situation. And this one kind of feels like it's got me beat in some regards. But we're gonna press forward. We might re-roll towards the end of stream, depending on how successful this whole situation is. But, again, we're making progress, which is better than we've done the last 2 times we've played it. Not worm! Not worm! Please, worm! Please, worm! Worm! I am a cat person! I love kitty cats! I've got 3 of them. Oh no. Sir, please! I need you to not be super close. I have 3 cats! 2 of them are here with me, but they're sleeping. They do make frequent appearances. I have managed to get Lamia to chill out and lay down, so I'm not gonna bother her. Farley doesn't like to be picked up. I can tell you about Rare Cat, and I can tell you that Rare Cat, Farley, is here. But he's hanging out under the desk. He's very comfortable. Devo will probably come in and do a scream every so often. But no, I love cats. I love all animals, honestly. I'm an animal person. Cats are just my fave. No. Sir. I spotted him too late. But yeah. We like horror games here. Horror games, mystery games, and apparently Souls games. I don't like rabbits. Rabbits freak me out. I don't, yeah, nope. Allie's right. I can, if you got a rabbit, if you like rabbits, good on ya. I don't want them. Rabbits are creepy. I think they are. Not for me. But, cat's great. Dog's great. Rat's great. Aminimals. Okay, I'm gonna meet you over here. I'm gonna meet you over here and you're not going to hurt me. I love, like, different species of animals being raised together and them picking up each other's habits and traits. It's precious. So many kitty cats, though. I love them. I love them all. Already. Just immediately. Dog! Oh, sorry, I have, like, something itching my cheek. Okay. We're kind of back to where we were. Where did all my stuff go? I don't know where it went at this point. There it is. No. No. Worm. Toughest enemy in all of Dark Souls. The worm. Alright, we got Big Lad over here. This rat trying to convince me to get closer to him. I think... Oof, can I... What would be the best way to handle this situation? Small platform? Wiggly platform? Wiggly platform and a ladder? I hear you, dog. Excuse you, dog. Absolutely, they've worked well in, like, randomized places, and I hate it. I hate those rats. They're bad rats. I don't wanna... He just got mad over nothing. I do shit for damage against him. Oof, 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 oof. Please? Okay, that, not a great idea. Not a great option. He's very slow, though. So maybe... Maybe we can just go? I can hear him, and I don't... I don't want to be here. We've lost him. We've done it. Is this the entrance? That's because Dark Souls is genuinely tense. Is this the entrance? Please, 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 no! Okay. Alright. Okay, alright, alright, okay. Okay, alright. Look. Why would they... Okay. Alright. Alright. Okay. Okay. Alright. We gotta get serious now. There's no more messing around. Travis. Yeah, we might have to. I think we gotta go say hi to Artorias. I did that so bad. I should have jumped. Well, Big Boy came after me. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. 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 Well. Let's just stab a man in the butt. Hey, if you gotta do a sleep, do a sleep. Oh, he did the thing. Sleep is important, and I 100% support people going to bed instead of watching the stream. If you can do a sleep, please do. Otherwise, I don't know what your situation is, your setup is, but you could always fall asleep while watching the stream. That do be an option. Look, I think a lot of us here, in this circle do sleep bad. So if anyone can get some rest, like, go for it. Do it. 100%. Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. We do Dark Souls, on the weekends. So, after today, we won't pick it back up until Saturday. But, we do lots of fun stuff during the week as well. And you're always welcome to come back and hang out another time. Well, hey, in that case, I'll still recommend you go to bed, but if you don't got anything pressing to do, just hang out for a while. But just know, if you need to do a sleep, we support that. I'm trying to think. The other thing that I'm just trying to do is, like, if we can beat a boss, fucking awesome. That would be great. I would love that. I would love that for us. But also, generally just trying to Get items. Ugh. Oh, goodness! That's very late. That's extremely late. I can't say nothing, though. That's about when I usually fall asleep. My time, at least. I get it. That sleep thing, not easy. Hard to come by. I just want to go down. That's all. Oh, hi, Snake. Okay, I guess I'm just going all the way down. Bad snakes! All bad! Yeah, okay, we've done it extremely bad. Exceedingly bad. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to get back through. That's okay. We can do it. Probably. Maybe. In theory? I just wanna... I usually start streaming... For the weekend stuff, I usually... Oh! Let me... not be getting attacked constantly before I answer your question. Let's just hang out on a ladder for a minute. Sir? Oh no. Oh no! It's fine! It's fine! He's dead! We've killed him. Oh no! Thank you, Allie. I also stream at 12 p.m. Central Time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You forgot the Friday as well. Yeah, so 12 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as well as 6 p.m. on those same days. And then 3 p.m. Central, this is all Central Standard Time. 3 p.m. on Saturdays, 6 p.m. on Sundays. I do have a schedule set up on Twitch, if you ever need to know, as well as a timer for my going live stuff. Yeah. It's okay. There's a lot of stream times. There's a lot of stream times. So many stream times. I stream a lot. I'm around. Yeah! I also post the going live notifications in our Discord if you would like to join. No pressure. It's wacky. It's weird. We're a fun group, though. I like to think. But yeah. I stream a lot, and I do have, like, afternoon streams, to try and, like, accommodate for other time zones, since I got a lot of folks, a lot of friends, lots of folks in various parts of Europe. Sirs. All the links. Jesus. Okay. We got the Twitter. I'm bad about it now. But my schedule is posted there as well. I do post, going live notifications every once in a while. I've gotten really bad about it. I'm sorry. And then, if you ever want to check out, our previous videos, the VODs are obviously up on Twitch, but I also post them on YouTube, since there's, like, it's, you know, they're only up for, like, 3 months on Twitch. I tried to dodge! But yeah. If it's 2 a.m. for you, about 2 a.m. now for you, I think we are... No, not 6 hours. 8 hours? 7. 7 hours difference. Someone check my math. I think that's an hour ahead of Fruity time. Um, yeah, well, it's 7 now. Seven hours. Okay. How many people does it take in chat to figure out math? 7. So there's a 7-hour difference between you and I. So afternoon streams would probably work well. My 12 p.m. stuff. That would be 7 p.m. for ya. It's from the lack of sleep. This is just me always. I'm gonna blame my bad math class right now. It has fried my brain. My favorite Hitchhiker's quote. Time zones are impossible. Absolutely. 100%. I hate them. No, why are... Oh, my shit's broken. My shit's broken! I even saw the notification that my shit was broken, and I only just processed that it was broken. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's true. That's actually inaccurate. Oh, and I can't use... Oh, no. I was gonna use the homeward bone, but that would send me to the wrong one. This is a problem. This is a problem. And I don't have the stats to, like, I don't have the stats at all to equip that. Fucking hell. How much does our current weapon weigh? 3.5. Yeah, I know. I got it. It's fine. How much more naked can I be? We are trouserless again. I'm so sorry. That's a little better. Oh my god, this is so slow. Does hit very hard though. Right? I'm in America. We do everything a little backwards. Yeah, no, that's one reason why I like to put the actual schedule like up on Twitch, since it will automatically tell you the time in your time zone as opposed to making all of us, yourself included, like try and figure out what the heck time zones are. What are you? What are you? Well, it's dead now. Is what it is. Oh no. Oh, alright! Dope! I adore it so much! At this point, I'm mostly just like, I get extremely confused as to what enemies are because they're not where they're supposed to be. This randomizer has made everything so much more ridiculous. No! Okay, don't even get me started on daylight savings. Because technically, my time zone right now is CDT. Central, what is it? Central Daylight Time or whatever? But normally it's CST. Central Standard Time. To which it's like, well, nothing is standard if you're changing it on us. I've had to look it up multiple times and update the schedule every time it happens. So we're currently in CDT. This is the only thing about time that I know. Thank you, streaming. I've had to care so much about this recently. This is what streaming has taught me. Oh my god. If they do, can you tell them to send, like, a whole packet to us? To America? To tell us why we should also get rid of daylight savings? Because it's miserable and useless. Please, sir. No! Oh! Oh! Can we just, as far as time is concerned, can we just stick with, like, the one measurement? And then that's it? Look, we don't have to do... Right? I don't want to have to go to Indiana or Arizona. Don't make me go. But does it matter? But does it matter if you get the hour back? It's just gonna go, like, look. I hate the stuff that we do with time. It's stupid, and it doesn't make sense anymore. There's no point in us having it anymore. I missed the big boy. Big boy didn't know what to do with any of that, and that's fine. Same, bud. Oh, is it already? Okay, so it's coming up. So I gotta... gotta go and change everything back to CST then. Fucking hell. Oh no. Yeah, so I think, from my understanding, the reason that, at least we've done, daylight savings was for, farmers and the like, so that they, didn't necessarily have to, like, do all their farming super early in the morning. I mean, they do because of the daylight. Hold on. Let me try and make this make sense. I understand it in my brain, but conveying it is a little more difficult. It's, because, like, the... Okay, thank you, Ollie, for confirming the words. Also, hey, Arcade, how's it going? Bork souls, more like bad souls, am I right? I've just yeeted myself off the fucking platform. How's it going, friend? How are you doing? But yeah, the reason that daylight savings was a thing was so that it was more, generalized for farmers, to, like, compensate for days getting, you know, the sunlight coming up earlier or later, depending on the time of year. So it did make sense when we were, you know, kind of stuck in with agricultural stuff. But now we have trucks and tractors with big old fuck-off lights, and so much of it's automated anyway that the human aspect of it doesn't fucking matter! Anyway, that's my rant about that. Yeah. Don't go to work when it's dark. But look, we can all handle that now. Thanks, technology. Please, please. This is a bad weapon. Part of my issue right now is that this is a bad weapon. Got this enchanted falchion. How much damage does the spear do? 200 with 200 lightning. This is... Oh, I have to sneeze, maybe? There's a lot of sneezing maybes going on today. It's not terrible. It's not great, though. That would also make sense. I'd believe that, too. Honestly. um basically, we don't need it anymore. Long story short, daylight savings irrelevant now. Not actually needed. We can as a world, as like everyone, everywhere, we can kind of do away with it. Honestly. Sir, I need you to not fall on me. Oh, wow, this is a bad weapon as well. Everything is bad. We don't like it. How do we get back down? Oh. Ladders. There are too many ladders, but also not enough ladders. Can I convince them to run off the ledge? Oh, nope, he's decided he wants to come up and say hello to us. Don't appreciate that. My guy. Can you get bored and go away? Can you leave me alone? Or is this where I need to be? I can get where I need to go. Bone wheel. Bone wheel. Wheel of bones? Oatmeal? As we were calling him yesterday? You gotta go. Is there... Oh, this just takes me back here. This is pointless. This is useless. This was a bad waste of time. Fucking hell. This has gotten me lower though, so maybe now... Not ideal. Not ideal. Oh no. I have no health. Okay, okay. I chugged one too many there. I don't care. It was worth it. Oh. They're all correct. That 84% of folks, correct. We need to get rid of it. Who in their right mind said no, keep it? I need to talk to them. I just want to talk. It's gotta go. Honestly. Did Bone Wheel just fall and die? We're almost down. We're almost down. Ooh, this potion is quick. I like that. I like quick weapons. I'm a fan of fast weapons. Okay, 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 okay. Please, 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 please. That slow turn, though. Got some chain leggings. Fantastic. Just what I wanted. I didn't want these. But look, we're almost down. Yes. Planks and poison, usually. Now it's just planks and big enemies that don't fit here that can kill me in like 2 hits. It's miserable, but we're almost to the bottom. Oh! Ah! Please. Planktown bad. Planktown bad. Planktown very bad. Look, I think I would rather deal with Blighttown as it normally is. That shouldn't have killed me. I know it did because I'm kind of like out of bounds there, but like that was not a far enough fall to do a murder on me. Fruity. Fruity. Is now really the time? It's always the time. What am I saying? Sir. Sirs. Sirs! This is a bad place to be. Yeah, okay. Snake men? Not fantastic. They all literally decided to jump after I died. They're like, oh, bored now. Please, I would like to leave. No, no, Bell Gargoyle. Hey, bud. Hey, buddy. Oh, fuck. Okay, he's gone. He did not die, which means that he is just waiting down there for us. There he goes. I think. If you could not take a step forward when you're swinging the sword, I would appreciate that. Oh, there goes Crystal Man. Cool. Come on. Come on. Let's go, Blobby. He didn't go off the edge. Ugh. Come on, Blobby. No, you've done it wrong. That was incorrect. Oh, fuck. So here's the thing now. Here's the issue now. Even if we were to re-roll, have new enemies show up in the area, I don't know that that would fix the issue that we're having. All my stuff's breaking. Everything is terrible. Nothing is pleasant. Get out of my way. We might get worse enemies in place of the ones that we already have. And that would be exceedingly unfortunate. Oh, Lamia woke up. And it would not reset items. No. Fucking hell. The item and the enemy randomizers, two separate programs I'm running. Yeah. So I just need to be extremely careful. Hi! And we have to make our way down. So it turns out the bosses, not even the full extent of our problems, really. No, I would still have whatever items I have picked up. And anything that has been picked up would stay gone. Or stay, you know, collected. And man, I need you to... It's fine. You just get to watch me die over and over again. In this bad, bad place. Hi, kitten. Perfect, perfect. I have nothing for you right now, Lamia. You've had your share of treats today. And we're a little busy right now, kitten. Okay? It wouldn't, I mean, it would still be bad. Let's just clarify that. It would still be a very bad situation. But it wouldn't be quite as terrible if I still had the weapon that I started out with. But I don't. Because it decided to break on us. Thank you for the, like, 4th rapier. You don't want to be here, Arcade, I promise. It's not a good place. Only bad people go to Plank Town. I had hoped that he would fall all the way down, and he did not. It's true. Right? Was never really an issue before. When I on my vanilla runs, never really that bad of a time, honestly. Now proven to be a very bad time. Okay. Let's I'd believe it. Arcade tough. Also, kitten, will you stop yelling at me? I have nothing for you. Would you like to come here? I can show you off real quickly. There. Look! It's a llama. She wishes to scream. Hi. Do some karate. Hi. You are the floppiest. We know this. Can I set you in my lap? Will you be happy in the lap? Hi. Oh, we got a big purr going on. Hello. If you would like to snuggle, you have to do it in my lap, okay? Okay. Acceptable. Whoa! Whoa! And you need to do it without clawing the crap out of my leg, please. Also, no biting. I don't like it when you do the bite thing. That's not very nice. Okay, she is settled in. Oh god, what are those called? Is it the little baby wrap things? She'd probably be down for it, but then she'd wiggle too much. Baby Bjorn? Is that right? That's not right. But yeah, the like sling things. I had one of those for my little brother when he was a baby. Oh no. I forgot you were here. Please, please. That's a brand of baby stuff. Okay, thank you. I knew it wasn't correct. But yeah. Babies are turds, but they can't help it. You can help it as an adult / teenager. Oh, okay. Well, this is not ideal, but I can work with this. No! Bone wheel! Fuck off! Holy shit! Holy fuck! Okay, okay, it's fine. You know what? You shouldn't be here anymore, but if you kill me, that's okay. 'Cause I'm here now. Motherfucker! We'll be around, man. Have a good sleep, Renee. I hope that you get some good rest. And we'll see you later, friends. Okay, let's level up. I should probably... Let's get more health. Like... It's not great. But I'll take it. Okay, if you can come here. If you can come in here. Oh, bone wheel. Clam is coming to say hi. You know what? You know what? It's okay. You know what? It's okay. It's fine. We can just do this. We can just do this. Fucking hell. Please. No! Bone wheel! Bad! Bad bone wheel! Okay, Lamia, you are actively choosing to hop out of my lap. That means I am not picking you back up. Bone wheel, why? Okay. It's okay. We have gotten down here. Thank you for the bubble, Sarah. We are down here. And that means things are better. I would like to have a different weapon than this thing. It's better at the campfire. It's not great though. I don't have enough stamina or enough strength to wield like any of these. And that is a bit of an issue. We're back to the old hammer, I guess. Yeah, that's not great. It's not what I would like. I do have the repair spell, but I don't have any attunement slots, I don't think. My dudes. This is really the worst place you could be, honestly. Okay. Yeah, it's not a great location. It's great for them. They love it. Please, please. Poison. Poison. Oh my goodness. Clam. 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 Please. Yeah, they're over there like, how funny would it be if we just tag teamed whoever comes through? And those of us who are coming through are like not funny at all, and they're like, doing it. And we're just like, hey, have you considered not? And they're like, nah, we're gonna do it. You're just like, okay. Alright, cool. Love that for me. Pinwheel. And he's gonna burst into worms. He's going to burst into worm? Goodbye, worm? Last time, he burst into many worms. And they did not float. They didn't float. You know what? I'm not gonna bother with it. That's fine. Okay. Artorias. Notorious Artorias. No matter what I do, it's gonna be shit. Right? Like, we know this. I guess I will go with the falchion. I also have about half as many Estus as I should. I appreciate the vote of confidence. Something died. I have so many souls, though. Don't really have... Would... I don't see that really helping in this situation. Okay, fantastic! We're not poisoned anymore. We have 4 Estus to deal with this bad boy. Oh no, not the clips. Not the clips. Artorias, have you considered just not being you for a little bit? 39 damage! Fantastic! Love that for me. Oh, lordy. Okay. Not ideal. However, if I have... I don't know that I have anything. Well, I've got... This is poison. Nidosaur has poison. I don't think I have anything with... Yeah, it's real slow, but I can't get more than a single hit in anyway. It's not even dark. No, it's poison. But... Oh, fuck. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Yeah, I can only get a single hit in at any given point anyhow. My guy. My guy. My dudes. Clam, no. Sir! Okay, we can make it through, though. If I can plan it properly. I need this poison to go away. I can't wait that long, though. I cannot wait that long. I'm gonna get God anyhow. Let's just speed up the process a bit. Ooh! Sorry. Oh, okay. This is... I think I can do this. Yikes. Okay, well... maybe not. Shit. Yeah, no, that's afterwards. That's where Quelaag's sister is hanging out. My favorite Dark Souls character. One of my favorite Dark Souls characters. Okay, but look. It's slow as fuck, but like I said, we can only manage to get like a single hit in at any given point when Artorias attacks. It did 173 damage, which took him down decently. I just need to avoid his attacks. That's the trouble now, is dodging out of his attacks. Sorry. It was a burp. Fucking shit. I hate these dudes. Okay. He's not an issue now. That guy hurts! And he's got a ton of health, which is not ideal. No matter what I do, I'm gonna get poisoned here. So there's no reason to, like, try to not get poisoned. At the at this point. Oh my god. Please. Oh my god. Oh. That fucking mage, though. That fucking mage, though. Not antifreeze. I don't want to get poisoned, though. I would prefer there to be a lack of poisoning happening. You know? Would just like to not get poisoned. But it's gonna happen anyway. Artorias is a badass. Known fact. I love Artorias. I just wish he would not ruin my day as much as he is. You know? I don't give a shit about any of these souls anymore, ever. Yeah, Four Kings, did it roll bad? Didn't Artorias, like, sacrifice himself to save Sif? Or was it the other way around? I think he did. He, like, took in all the badness. Artorias is the man. Honestly, though. Real talk. Artorias, actual badass. Look at him. Oof. That did hurt. Guy, I need you to not bum rush me like this. No! I am so slow and he is so not slow. Okay, but like it's a small little touch, but I love the broken arm. I love Artorias. He's so cool. Honestly though. Oh, fucking hell, my guy. I can never plan those stupid dodges for his dumbass attacks, ever. Sif is very, very good. He is the goodest boy. Sif good boy. I love Artorias, like everything about him, from his lore to his appearance to just everything. Honestly. A+ for Artorias. Like, I was telling Fruity earlier, like, I've never played the DLC, but I've seen the boss fights for him because I heard his music and I was like, oh, I gotta find out who this boss is because his music slaps. And he has instantly become one of my all-time favorite bosses ever. Him and Quelaag, honestly, are my favorite, and I hate the fact that the game heard me say that because now we have Artorias as Quelaag, and it's unfortunate. Aww. Sif is such a good boy. We love Sif. Okay, let's get a heal in now. Goopy lad. Fucking hell. It's too far away. I'm so dang slow. Oh, I don't know how I dodged that, but I did! Okay. Got me there. Yeah, nope, you did. Good job. Fuck. Nope. Yikes. Fucking hell. Okay, we got him down 2 notches this time, though. Aw, baby Sif. It would, I mean, yeah, no, definitely, I definitely can't heal at all. Artorias is like, unacceptable. But also, just not great. Whole thing, just not great. That, you shot that off way too soon! It's also just extremely unfortunate because I'm still poisoned. And I don't think... You know what, there might be a way for me to manage to, like, get through here. No, there's no way. I can't pass this section without getting poisoned. Yeah, our healing fucking sucks. There are no Estus shards anywhere. Can't take care of our dang selves. And it's extremely unfortunate. I don't have any more items to get rid of it. Do you think I could turn Artorias toxic? Do you think I could throw a dung pile at him? I can get here with all of my Estus, though, now, which is very good. I mean, I don't get to use all of them in battle because I'm poisoned and I have to heal up before I get in there. But, you know, That's a thing. Oh. They get him? I don't think it affects him, honestly. I think he's goopy and gross and probably already poisoned. Don't! No! No, no, no! Okay, yeah, that didn't work, and that's okay. Now we know. Now we know. I need to heal. Jesus. I dodged the wrong way. Okay, alright, let's go, buddy. Hey, bud. Hey, bud. Did not dodge in the right time, but almost a third of his health is down. Okay, this is... It's hard. It's gonna be fucking hard. It's gonna be extremely difficult. But I think it's doable. I think this is doable. I think we can do this. Can I just... Okay, let's... This guy. This is the real enemy here. Let me go use the restroom real fast. Because I'm now starting to get distracted by my bladder. It's pee time, y'all. Oh my god, right though? Right though. Manus is just ridiculous. I don't have enough space to do anything with him there, and we tried to do the cheesy shoot him from the corner thing, but he likes to jump out of the way and then get stuck. Yeah, no, I like this fight. I like Artorias' moveset. I really enjoy him as a boss. It's very fun to be able to finally, like, fight him. Instead of just watching fights of him. And it's a bit of a trek to get to him, but it's not nearly as awful as it could be. And I feel like I'm doing extremely well, considering I have no armor. I don't have the stats for the weapon that I've got. He's extremely fast. I wonder if I could... Even if we can't get him done tonight, I might grind a little bit. And by grind, I mean pop my head out, get those 10k souls, pop back in, and keep doing that over and over again for a little bit so I can level up. And maybe boost whatever stats I need to better equip some of the weapons that I have. But yeah, pee time right now. Everybody take a quick break. Stretch. Feel like we've all been really, really tense. But I'm gonna go pee.
Those blue eyes, close the door, I'll stay forever. Here with power, and if you're listening, it's too late. You're waiting for some time to waste. I never liked this song. Oh, red skies, where love dies. Close the door, I'll stay forever.
I was gonna say, if people haven't either listened to the Paradise Killer soundtrack or haven't played Paradise Killer, please do. It's a delightful game. It's very good. I fucking love the soundtrack. Okay. I've peed. I've gotten rid of... There's no more lipstick. We're all done with the lipstick for today. My lips are starting to get chapped, and I was starting to chew on my lips, and that's not great. None of those options are great. So I decided to say no. I've done it bad. Oh, I didn't do it as bad as I thought I would. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, there's absolutely no way for me to get through here without taking some sort of poison damage. Confirmed. I figured, I knew, but it's good to have the confirmation. Okay, okay. I'm still feeling good about this. I need to not see your gummy works. Clam. Clam! I don't want to see the inside of you, Clam! Okay. We gotta kick Artorias out. It's time to kick Artorias out. Artorias, you gotta move on, buddy! This isn't healthy, friend! I think some of the stats have poison resistance. And I can get items that cure poison, but I don't know that I know anyone who sells them at the moment. I don't think Andre has any, and the merchant might? Normally there's a lady who sells them. Devo, no thank you. Normally there's a lady who sells you all the mosses, which are like bleed resist and poison resist and toxic resist and all that stuff. But I haven't talked to her, and I don't know that she would have them anyway. Poison honestly isn't as bad. I mean, it's not great. By any means, it's not fantastic. I think I'm gonna wait it out, though. It's almost done. We did get the extra Estus, which was nice. Everything is lagging because I'm staring at the fog wall. No, that's fair, that's fair. There is usually an option. I think my gear had, like, what I was wearing before I had to get naked did offer not a lot, but some poison resist. And yeah, there's items to, like, get rid of the status effect as well as getting rid of the buildup before you hit the status effect. But because our game's fucked, no. Normally, yes, though. Okay, it's almost gone. That's as full as I'm gonna be able to get. Going in with 9, fantastic. It just is an issue of being able to heal in time. I'm feeling good about this. Maybe not this run, but that's okay. Oh. Definitely not this run. But Artorias, look. So normally there is. Not this time. That's okay. That's our post-P death. It's acceptable. To be expected. I gotta kill this guy, though. I need him to not be shooting me. It didn't count. It's true. It didn't count. Oh, that still does, like, no damage to this man. Okay. Well. Now we know. That's the same amount of damage that I normally do to him. With my fully upgraded... Shocky Staff. Shocky Spear. The spear. But that's okay. No, it saw me. Spellboy saw me. Can't catch me if I'm always rolling. That's not true. 100% can. Like I said, I'm back to the point where this feels like it's a thing that we can do. It's gonna be rough. It's definitely going to take a lot of tries. But I think we can do it. Which is better than I was feeling with Manus. For a bit, I was feeling good about Manus, because I was like, oh, we've got, like, all these good options, there's some things that we can try, and then he thwarted all those possibilities. Like he do. Right? I beat Kaz! I beat the Orphan of Kaz! I can do this shit! Orphan of Kaz is a bitch. My god. He's so fast. He's faster than Artorias, arguably. Absolute menace. But that's okay. I don't wanna go in with my poison still super high up. I think, but I don't want to just stand here. It's true. I'm so quick. We got this. Sam. Hi. Fruity got some good clips of the Kaz fight. When we did Bloodborne on stream, it was a fucking wild experience. Everything happens. But hi Sam, how's it going? How are you doing? Okay, Artorias. Whoop! No! That did extra damage though somehow! Buddy! Hey buddy! Hey buddy! I need you to not track me like that. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get this done tonight. I'm gonna keep trying. If you guys don't care, if you don't mind. There is an item over here. Oh my god, stop getting stuck on nothing! We got a thing. We're just gonna ignore everything and continue on. Hi, Crystal Man. How goes the new place, Sam? Ah! Clam! Can you imagine doing that many front flips? I'm not one to get motion sick, but I think I'd probably be hurling at this point. Sometimes you just gotta roll through all of the poison. Good. I'm just excited to see you in streams. Not just mine, but everyone's streams more now. We've missed you. They hating. Oh god. I'm hating it. Oh no. You got this though. Yeah. No, moving boxes, miserable. Not great. But then you'll have it done. Eventually you'll have it done. And it's gonna be so dang good. And it's just gonna be great. And then you won't have to do it for, like, ages, hopefully. Arcade, thank you for the bubble. You got this! After this week, it'll be smooth sailing. We gotta hype ourselves up a little bit. It's fine. Poison is at a manageable place. Let's go. It doesn't matter. The poison doesn't matter. If Artorias wants me dead, he's gonna kill me. Because that's what he does. Nope. Alright, let's go, bud. Buddy! That one's rough. The timing on that is weird. Mostly, my brain thinks the timing on that's weird. And I, dodge way before I'm supposed to. It's okay. We good. We were good. Absolutely. 100%. We're just gonna, he's gonna cock his arm back and then forget it's there. Which, at least in Artorias' defense, I get it. He's only got the one good arm. Why is it that sometimes... Oh, Quelaag falls down. I just thought she spawned here. Yeah, the old Lightman play. It's what you gotta do when you've got a ridiculously hot mom. Crystal Man just gave up there for a second. Which is, like, totally fine. Clam. Bad Clam. Zach Lightman of the terrible Ernest Cline book, Armada. Do not read it. What's the opposite of a Stan account? I'm that for Ernest Cline. Not the edible torment. For real? I'm glad you understand. I'm glad you understand. Oh, it's just... I guess you're... Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Luna. It's just a hate account. I guess I didn't know if the kids had come up with a new word for a hate. All these kids with their fan cams and OnlyFans. Sir. Look, I need you to give me a break, Artorias. You can't just keep swinging. Yeah, a hater account. I am a hater. Facts, though. Ew, why? Sam, did you tell him he was a chode? I mean, I think you could have. You could have. It just wouldn't have gone well for you. I'm so sorry. We were so so if anybody doesn't hang out in Birdie streams, you should. I think he tries to write himself in as the protagonist, and it's just bad. I've not read any other Ernest Cline. I actively avoided Ready Player One, and now I'm being forced to listen to Armada. I say being forced. I have chosen this because I like listening to garbage with my friends. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, he writes himself as a team, but he still is, I don't want to say an old man, but, like, he's an adult. He's a fucking adult. And he just still doesn't understand how the world works. And it's like, buddy, come on. It's not great. It's not great. Y'all, Armada, bad. Misses his dad so dang much. But he thinks about his dad and his mom boning a lot in the back of their car, and it's like, yo, Ernest, have you considered talking to somebody? Hi, Willis! We appreciate lurkers here. You never, we appreciate lurkers here. But hello. Excuse me while I just rant about how bad Ernest Klein is, while getting my ass handed to me. I mean, look, I pretended to be a writer for a while, okay? I still pretend to be a writer sometimes. I do understand the basics about self-inserts and writing from your own perspective. I get it. I was 12 at one point. I was 12 and a writer at one point. The difference is, my writing has grown since then. My writing's not great. Let's be real about that. I'm not sitting here being like, my writings are so good. They're not. That's why I don't share them with anyone. But yeah, don't hug Murderbot. That would just be weird and awkward for all of them. Sam, you'll never get it right. You will always mess it up at least once, and I love that. I love it. It's a good quote though. But seriously, my guy. No! He just barely missed me. Holy shit. Okay. Get fucked, Artorias! My guy, I need you to stop doing the swingy thing. I also need you to give me a second to heal! Okay, nope. You clearly don't know what you're doing, says Phone. Let me help you. Thank you, Phone. Good quote. We have 39 quotes now? Jesus. Some of these enemies, I swear. The timing on their attacks changes every single time. Is Quelaag, like, even real? I can't target her. I don't think Quelaag is real. Gotta remember the 38 is the catchphrase. Look, do you just want me to make a pee time command? Cyril's got a piss command. I could have a pee time command. I think that one has spaces in it. Yeah. There you go. I told you, no matter what you do, you will always have to mess it up the first time. And that's extremely endearing to me. Never stop. Oh god, leg. It's pee time. I mean, you can go through them. Do you want to pull them up? You can pull them up. Wah! Waluigi is here. He's seen better days. Yeah, you gotta start keeping track of those quotes. The butt. Luna is determined to go through all the quotes. Oh, he was angry about that! No! Fuck! No! Miserable. I don't want Snake to happen. Was that when we were playing Amori? I think that's when we were playing Amori. I remember that being a Cyril quote, because it was the first quote we ever had. These boys need to learn how to time their attacks properly. Please. Classic. Farley, that's not your food. Oh my god. The cheapness here. I mean, at this point we gotta. Front flip. Front flip chug! Front flip chug! It is the way of the world. My stomach could never. Same. Oof. Okay, alright. Look, if I have to front flip this many times, it's not gonna happen. I don't feel like I'm gonna be able to get any healing during this, this fucking fight. Which is extremely unfortunate. These early quotes are wild. Alright, Artorias, let's go, buddy. If I can stay back here, he'll do this one pretty regularly. Which I can dodge fairly easily. Nope, missed. Nope. Nope! And Artorias! Come on, my guy! Motherfucker. This asshat, though. Okay. I don't play Dark Souls because my brain refuses to learn how to parry in any video game. I don't parry in Dark Souls. You don't gotta parry to play Dark Souls. Let me tell you now, Sam. You don't gotta parry to play Dark Souls. Despite what the gamer bros might tell ya. You don't gotta. Oh my god. This motherfucker, though. This motherfucker, though! Hate this man. Just about every game. Facts, though. Facts, though. I'm gonna get shot. I'm gonna get clammed. Okay. The parry is pretty decent in Valheim. Only because you can parry bullets. I will not get a shield until I can get a black metal shield, though. That's just facts. I like that it's a yet situation. Do you think we should just wait? until the poison is gone. You should definitely get Valheim. Valheim is delightful. We love Valheim. I feel that. I understand that. Don't buy more games if you can't buy more games yet. This is okay. We do gotta do Bone Mass soon. It's true. Can I just stop being poisoned now? I would love to not be poisoned any longer. Whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter. Again, I'm gonna die in 2 hits anyway, regardless of how much health I have. Dude! You can't just stun lock me! You can't just do that. For real. For real. He's like, no. Once I got you here, this is where you are. I have become Artorias' bitch, and normally I'd be down for that. But this is not that situation. I hate these guys. Just end me. I just need his moves to be consistent. I need to not get stun locked. I would appreciate a lack of stun locking. Yeah, I think the 10,000 souls is from Quelaag. She falls, and then she doesn't despawn. She just exists here. Thanks, Quelaag. I appreciate your sacrifice. She's like, here, take my souls. Beat this man. She's been kicked out of her home. We gotta... She's sending an eviction notice. It is us. We're doing a very, very bad job at evicting Artorias. Fucking love Quelaag. Honestly. I'm sad that we won't see her in any other boss area at this point, but that's okay. We did get to see her here, and I didn't have to kill her. She's done it herself. Alright. Let's make this happen. We do love her sister. I got the rings and everything, so we can talk to her, and it's gonna be beautiful. Get out of here. I said get out of here. Buddy. Buddy. Pal? I can't climb up that little tiny hill. That hill, too steep for me. My tiny jerky legs cannot handle it. I have no range with this fucking sword. And that's upsetting. Are you gonna jump? No. You're gonna do the bad spinny hit that I can't really get away from. I've timed this terribly! Okay. The fact that they're scary spider ladies just makes it even more exciting. Live life dangerously. I personally have no issue with spiders. The only issue I have is when they aren't where they're supposed to be and they're suddenly on me instead. That's when I have an issue. It's like, yo, you chill out over there. I'll chill out over here. I'll just never time that fucking dodge properly ever. Ever. I just want to not get sucker punched by everything in this stupid swamp. Preferably. Fun fact. So I have been playing Ender Lilies in my spare time. You do get some rope action going on. It's not a butt rope, but it's a butt rope. I found butt rope. And that's all I'll say about that. But it does exist. You will be so happy when you find the butt rope. Not for our little bean. Not for the little bean. Not for Lily. But it's very good. Everyone needs to play Ender Lilies. Ha! He missed me! Idiot. I say that, but like, this happens. Every time. No, 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 no! You will though! Look! Butt rope makes everyone happy. Don't jump away from me. Only I can jump away from you. I need you to know every time I go to attack him, I definitely, like, lunge forward a little bit, like, in real life. I don't know if you can see it, because it's very tiny. It's a minute action. Why did that hit me so many times? Yeah, no, I get it. I do understand. Again, I bought 3 video games today, and I didn't need to. But I did it. And I have a whole list of games on my PC that I still need to get to. Hi, Quaylog. I did have to see Thane. I need to see him in all of his remastered glory. My beautiful boy. Genuinely an underrated character in all of Mass Effect. Thane is the best. Love Thane. Fuck. I'm very excited to go through Mass Effect again. Can you not? Why is everyone so mean? Fucking hell. You gotta play it. You gotta do it. I finally picked up the Legendary Edition. Yes! My sweet baby. When I played Mass Effect originally, I started playing the second one. That was the very first one that I played, and I just fell in love with Thane and Samara as well, but I can't woo Samara because she's, you know, doing her Justicar nonsense. I get it. I support you, girl. You do your thing. I fell in love with Thane, but I went and, like, played the first one after, like, you know, beating the second one or whatever. And I was so bored with all the characters. I didn't want to love any of them. Liara had no personality. Kaden was just a dude bro. Ashley was a fucking racist. Garrus, I just want Garrus to be my best friend. Rex was my best friend. Again, I love Garrus. I love Garrus. But I love him because he's my best friend. Alright. I just got a soft spot for Thane. I love Thane. And I'm so glad that other people love Thane as well. Thane is best boy. You gotta get into Mass Effect. I couldn't get into Dragon Age. I tried real hard. I couldn't do it. So I totally understand if Mass Effect ends up not being your thing, but just like, it's so good. Please, sir. What are you doing? I dodged! I hit the dodge button. I'm glad you liked the multiplayer. I didn't care for it. I think we're gonna end stream here because there's no way I'm gonna get through this Artorias fight. I need to level up. But it is manageable. We just need to... I need to be able to handle this weapon better, honestly. And just generally, like, get more souls. I need better defense. I need to be able to hold a bunch of shit. I need to be able to put all of my gear on. I won't do a ton of levels. But maybe enough to, like, accurately or more properly be able to hold this weapon. So we'll pick this back up next Saturday. Yeah. I gotta figure out what we're doing tomorrow for our afternoon stream. Because we technically finished one of the routes for World of Horror. And I'm down to do more World of Horror. But no one got back to me on whether they wanted more World of Horror or not. Which is fine. We got options. We got things that we can do. Anywho, right? Like, I know a ton of people absolutely adore Dragon Age, and I can see why they like Dragon Age. It was just not for me. I don't think, like, as I look at stuff, as I've gotten older and reassessed my taste in things, I like fantasy. I like high fantasy things, but I think I just much prefer science fiction. Yeah, I fucking love Mass Effect. Good stuff. Verdi loves World of Horror. Okay. Well, let's see about doing more World of Horror. I guess I'll see how I'm feeling in the morning. And it might be that or Ooblets. We'll see. We'll see what the afternoon stream will be. But, tomorrow evening, we will do more Darkwood. And it's gonna be great. Let's... I know you will. I know most of you will. But I want it to be a game that we can all enjoy, so. Alright, let's see who we got online to raid. Let me get those raid messages up first. First one is for anyone. If you aren't a sub to the channel, it's got emotes that are global, so you can use those. Otherwise, the second one is the subscriber raid message. It's got our personal emotes in it. We love a good octopus. It looks like I have Mrs. Kiwi doing some Dead by Daylight, Nimbly doing some Just Chatting, Calvi Berry doing The Wonderful 101. Unfamiliar with that one. Nick's Blackheart doing some Grand Theft Auto. Otherwise, we can find somebody who's also doing Dark Souls. I'm willing to take recommendations if people got them. We like meeting new friends. We're here for it. I always love raiding Nimbly on Sundays, personally. But I'm open to other options and suggestions if people got it. Otherwise we might just go hang out with Nimbly. Because they're delightful. And very relaxing and calming. Let's go hang out with Nimbly. Let's go say hi to Nimbly. Looks like she just started her stream. So it'll be, that'll be fun. But anyway, thank you all for being here and hanging out. Being so supportive during this very trying time. No. No, it's been nice to be able to get to a point in Dark Souls where I feel like we can actually make some progress. It's gonna be rough, but it's manageable. It's doable. I love hanging out with you guys too, though. I like just spending time and chatting and like shooting the shit. It's great. So we'll do that again next time. But until then, take care of your dang selves. I love y'all. Go send the love over to our friend Nimbly. We'll see y'all later.